session for the week for our friends and our co-founder and friends punya series. So I mean, today we're going to talk very specific about an area that you're passionate in and where your business is also in. So before we go into that, I would definitely want to introduce you to the audience today. But while we wait for the audience to come in, and hopefully there'll be about at least 20-30 people watching live at nanti. So maybe how are things on your end, Fitri? I mean, it's been a while that I think the last time we met was what, at least 2 months ago or 3 months ago?
No, we bumped in PJ out of nowhere.
Yes,
Anyhow,
that was
thank
right.
you, Nabil. Assalamualaikum, everyone. First of all,
Waalaikumsalam.
thank you for hosting this session.
Mhm.
It's an honor to be hosted, interviewed by you, Nabil. And yeah,
I mean, I could only return the favor because you did that to me earlier this year on your On the Way Show podcast, right? And it's on
correct.
Spotify. Yeah, just give a bit of background between me and Fitri. I mean, we got introduced by a mutual friend of ours. There is a way, it's not even in Malaysia. She's in Singapore, and her name
A
is
mutual friend that
Shasha.
we've never met.
Yes, we
That's
have
the
not. Yes, we got connected with her on LinkedIn. I'm not sure. I think she got connected with you first. I
correct.
think, and then after that, after a while, she got connected with me, and she thought that, hey, it would be a good idea. There's this one SEO guy, Nabil, and then this website guy, Fitri. You guys maybe want to like talk to each other and perhaps do something together, specifically in Malaysia, right? And then after that, I think we sort of got ourselves connected by having a meeting together with me and your team, right?
Correct.
Yeah, and then somehow we both shared a lot of similar experiences while building our business. I mean, we are different different places, of course, but at the same time, I think there's a lot of things that we share in common. So I think that was like that extra connection that we had. Like, okay, I understand you what you went through, and you understand me what I went through, and throughout the whole time of the year, especially with the pandemic and all, we've talked to each other in terms of trying to assist, like, is this a good thing to do in the website world, is this a good thing to do in the SEO world, right? Yeah.
Yep.
So it's about 2 more minutes until 9. At 9 o'clock, I'm going to ask you to introduce yourself, if you're fine with that. I think a lot of people would love to know what your background is, what you're doing, what Fix Collab is, and what is Website Artisan. I think a lot of people would know you personally as someone who founded and runs Website Artisan, but I guess you can expand a little bit more what Fix Collab is, what are newer things that you guys are doing, and then we can jump into what you like to share with us and our audience today in terms of building a revenue generating website. Not just a website that looks great, but at the same time, how can we make it convert? Because at the current state of business, a lot of businesses are trying to go online, trying to get their website presence up and running. However, the issue is, what's their competitive advantage? What makes them different than the rest? Everyone has a unique story, right? And I know you're passionate about having that story, that copywriting on the website. So I'd love to drill that down with you later on. So let me see berapa banyak orang tengah tengok sekarang. So where are
That's
you
really good.
now? Where are you now?
So right now, I mean, we relocated from Malawati to Kota Damansara.
Ah, okay, okay.
So long story short, during MCO, we needed to do something. It's like an opportunity that I know if I don't take it,
Uh-huh.
it's gonna go. So I said yes, and then we moved the whole team to KD, and now we've been operating here since then lah.
I see. So you're at the office now.
Yep.
Wow, see, hustling hard on a Friday night, 9 p.m. at the office with your team. I can imagine.
Oh, they are out eating. Probably watching this. Watching. Make sure you share this.
Yeah, share this. Make sure that a lot of people get to hear what Fitri has to say tonight. So yeah, it's about 10 seconds. So we might want to do a countdown. So I'm just gonna do the same thing that I did just now to welcome everyone again, and we're gonna make this thing official. So hey, assalamualaikum, and a very good evening, everyone. Welcome, welcome, welcome. My name is Nabil Jalil. I'm one of the co-founder of Rice Bowls. We are a platform for entrepreneurs, aspiring entrepreneurs to learn. And it's like an edutainment platform where you can have fun at the same time, get valuable insights and information to improve your business and beyond. So we're a new company, but we're expanding. But as of right now, we're doing a lot of these sessions to share as much value as possible to help as much entrepreneurs trying to navigate this difficult time in our current economic climate. So who I have here today is a very special person. His name is Fitri Joroji from Fix Lab. Welcome, welcome, welcome. And
Thank you
thank
for
you
having
so
me.
much for having taking the time to just on a Friday night like this. You're at the office and still willing to talk to me and share your insights on how to help more entrepreneurs daily. So please introduce yourself and what is Fitri Georgie and what is Fix Collab. So without further ado, Fitri, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Nabil, for the introduction. Assalamualaikum, everyone. My name is Fitri Joroji, and just like all of you guys, I happen to, start a business. And so I started off as a freelancer.
Mhm.
I wanted to intern in a company, and then that company was almost, went down under, and they had me to come up with a plan B. So from
Mhm.
there, I had to learn how to, you want to start a new business, a new idea, you have to at least figure out a website. And
Right.
overnight, I watched a lot of YouTube videos, and I fell in love with the whole process of coming out with something nice. And then, long story short, people start realizing that, hey, why don't I pay you to start building a website? So that is when this whole building website as a part-time thing started.
Mhm.
And one client after another, one client after another client. And I realized that, hey, this is something that I can turn into a full-time business. So that is when I decided to establish Website Artisan. And at that point, it was just like any other website development company where we built
Mhm.
nice-looking websites in
Mhm.
exchange of obviously money.
Mhm.
So
And when was that?
that was in 2001. The company was incorporated in 2017, but I
Mhm.
started doing this website thing since 2015,
I
which is
see.
still during my uni days.
Right. So you've been a freelancer ever since your uni days.
Yep,
Awesome,
building
awesome.
websites from my dorm room. So
Okay.
so so what happened was, I'm a marketing guy. I love studying about marketing, this and that. And it's a personal story whereby, you know, I get a little bit full of myself thinking that, look, if you build your website with me, your business is going to blow up. So I
Mhm.
started going out and humming the drum, which was very naive of me. And after one unfortunate event, it made me realize that having a good working website, a website that, gets people to go in and say, hey, I want to do business with you,
Mhm.
it's not so much about having a well laid, a nice looking picture, a beautiful design.
Right.
Because to me, I thought at that point I had it. I had beautiful design. I had all this cool animation, so-called what people call it. You see, the website feels expensive, this and that, but people were just not buying from the website.
I see.
And that was when I realized that something else was missing.
Mhm.
And started this path of trying to figure out what what are the variables that makes people tick on a website.
Mhm.
And I came across this thing called messaging. Some people call it copywriting. I call it messaging. Some people call it positioning, but it's
Right.
how you present yourself on the website.
Mhm.
So I figured a framework that is used in the USA by all the all these filmmakers to shoot movies.
Mhm.
And that guy came out with a book using that framework to teach people how to do marketing. Some of you
Okay.
guys might have heard of this. It's called Story Brand, a framework by this gentleman called Donald Miller. And at that point, it felt like I discovered something, a holy grail. So quickly, I reached out to a client and say, hey, what if I can, change the messaging of your product, how you've been selling your product, and we run a campaign. And
Mhm.
to my surprise, we
Mhm.
were able to sell a lot of his product in just short amount of period of time.
Just by
And
changing the messaging.
correct. It was just changing by the messaging. And then that is when I start realizing that, hey, imagine an equation, right?
Mhm.
Good website is equivalent to a good design plus a good messaging, a good story.
Yeah.
And at least that was what I thought at that point. So
Mm-hmm.
at this point, obviously, I was having one client a month, two client a month as a freelancer, and the results was not consistent.
I see.
Like although you know this client have a beautifully done website with what I thought was a good copy,
Mm-hmm.
the results was on and off. Some guys hit it off, some guys did not hit it. And that
Okay.
was when I realized that the website is basically, I like to use this analogy. Your website is just a shop, like a kedai.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So when you revamp your website, which I think is a popular thing right now, everybody just wants to revamp their website.
Mm-hmm.
But on what basis?
Mm.
So when you want to revamp your website, it's like doing a renovation to your physical kedai, right?
Right.
And now that your kedai is beautifully well done, and you go ahead and position it well, write a good story behind it. This is where an equivalent picture would be, you go into the kedai, you susun all the product nicely on the shelf, you put the cash register at the perfect place so people
Mm-hmm.
know how to move around in the website. So this is what most people call a user-friendly website. I go in, just know where to look and where to go.
Right. Right. Yes.
But it was not the 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 formula that we use at our agency. And that
Okay.
is when we realized that the kedai that is
Mm-hmm.
beautifully done,
Mm-hmm.
a good copy with a good product on the shelf,
Mm-hmm.
will not sell by itself if you don't have people walking into the kedai.
Right. Okay. Yep.
So this analogy applies to a lot of businesses out there. This is when we start realizing that, hey, what's the point of having a very nice, well done website, but there's no one simply walking into the website? You still
Correct.
cannot sell.
Mm-hmm.
A 7E can be a 7E, but if no one's walking in, you still not make any sale.
Right.
So
It's
once we figured that was when things really take off for us. We grew, and then, long story short, MCO hits.
mm-hmm.
And I mean, that point, I was running a website artisan. That is where I got connected to Nabil, and we start realizing that, hey, most people just don't really. I mean, they just don't want just a website. They
Mm-hmm.
wanted something more complex. They wanted to, you know, digitalize, which is a famous word these days.
What right now?
Digitalize their business, and they
Yeah.
wanted some. A lot of people want. They want app. They want to have these functions. They want to have these features.
Mm-hmm.
And throughout this, I've met a bunch of people who I know are capable of doing this,
Mm-hmm.
and they voiced out the idea of it. What if we merge? We have
Right.
the expertise in marketing, you have this expertise in design, the
Mm-hmm.
another guy have expertise in development. Why don't we form this alliance, which is a new company that provides this, you know, full blown,
Full suite of
yeah,
every
full suite
the
of.
things that you need to
Correct,
run a proper business.
correct. So
Okay.
that was when we established Fixed Collab.
Mm-hmm.
Was established really new in June, bulan
Okay.
6, and it has been 5 months ever since.
Mm-hmm.
And so, Fixed Collab essentially is a software development house focusing mainly on apps and company ERPs. So
Mm-hmm.
now with big companies moving their workforce working from home, they realized that they needed a tool to be able to monitor, a tool to be able to make the whole work from home experience much nicer. So that's where we come in and supply all this. But
Ah.
so those are the two companies. Website Artisan still help a lot of small companies, especially in the service-based business, trying to
Mm-hmm.
figure out how to sell on their website, how to get
Okay.
people to go into the kedai, how to get
Mm-hmm.
people to pick which product, how to get people to go to which cash register.
Right.
So that was that's the introduction, guys.
So
I
that's
designed
how Fix
collab.
Collab came about and all that. So now you are the CEO of Fix Collab, right?
Correct.
And website artisan is also still running, right? So okay, so let's pick website artisan or maybe Fix Collab. You know the division between the two because at the same time the team that functions for both is still the same company or not.
We have different team under this, subdivisions
Subunit.
we call it.
I see. Okay, got it. So the title of our session today is building revenue generating website, right, for SMEs. So a lot of our audience are also either business owners in the SME category, and also a lot of like students actually in university at the moment. They are thinking about starting their own business and whatnot. So maybe you could share with us what are the three main things that you should definitely do when you want to build your own website so that it will help you to generate revenue, which is at the end of the day, a business would need revenue to survive. They need cash flow. And you mentioned already about that uh, messaging, right? I'm pretty sure that's one of them. What else do they need to do? Or maybe you can expand a little bit more on what are the things that they can find? Like, okay, you have this, then most probably you have a good messaging. But of course, to get to your level of messaging when you do for your clients is a bit different. But how can they start thinking about these three things or five things, depending on what you usually consult to your clients or potential clients?
Right. Very good question. So I think the best way to address this is to start with the problems that we see a lot of these, new business owners
Mm-hmm.
when it comes to them building your website. And I don't blame you guys. I was there at one point. We lack the time and expertise
Yeah.
to build a good one. So we don't know what is the best practice, what is you know how to get people to go to the website via SEO. A lot of people think that once they build it, it will just happen like that.
Mm.
So
Yeah.
one big problem that I see a lot of people have is that we always think that other people understand the business as good as we are. So
Uh,
this led to us trying to be clever, trying to be, some sort of cute and clever when it comes to building our website. We write things like, you know, securing a better future, and then you put a very abstract picture there. And when a complete stranger goes into the website, it creates this confusion as to, okay, like, what is this business about?
mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And now it's more important than ever to actually nail that first impression right.
Yeah.
And if you, so the problem is a lot of people trying to be clever when it comes to their header, and they use words that, only the business owners understand. So
Mm-hmm.
this creates this, I would say, a lot of lost potential revenue, guys, because people come in and imagine you walk into the store,
Mm-hmm.
you just don't know whether this is a convenience store or kedai baju or kedai,
Mm-hmm.
frozen food.
Right.
That's the number one problem that I see a lot of. I mean, that we help with our client to solve,
Okay.
to be clear and direct when it comes to getting your first impression, which is, when you land on a website, the first thing that you will see. So that's a huge real estate when it comes to, telling people this is what we do,
Mm-hmm.
and getting them to feel curious to want to
Scroll
investigate
down.
more.
Yes. Correct. Yep.
So, so that's problem number one.
Okay. Sometimes you have
And
to
then,
make it simple.
sec- and that's the way, because, is this what we call it's a business owner thing, where we think that because we're this close to business, we don't really. It's funny, even if, when we do our own website
Mm-hmm.
and when we get an external point of view, we realize that, hey, why didn't we think of that?
Yep.
Because you are trying to sell to some complete stranger. If they don't understand what you do on the get-go,
Mm-hmm.
forget about trying to sell to them in the first place.
Yep.
So
Yep.
this is when running paid traffic to the website is just going to be, you do all these Facebook ads, you do all these Google ads, but when people go into the store and they're like, oh, what's this store about? So that's a waste opportunity there.
Mm. Waste of money as well. A lot of business owners recently that I've talked to also as well, that their websites are not really that optimized like how you mentioned. They are wasting a lot of their ad spend on a lot of things. And sometimes they think that the advertisements are not working, but in actuality, the website is not helping them to convert. That's a good point that you raised up.
Correct.
Hmm. Okay, go
And
ahead,
and,
man.
and, and to give a context, this conversation applies a lot to service-based business, because if you're
Hmm.
selling a product, a lot of it, I mean, if you look at e-commerce now, a lot of it, I may not be an expert in e-commerce, but a lot of it deals with different offers.
Hmm.
So we are just gonna, use the context of a service-based business in this conversation.
Yeah.
So that's problem number one. And problem number two is the fact that we talk about ourselves too much. So you're selling to someone who have a problem, right? Let's say if you're in a service-based business.
Mm-hmm.
But when people read your website, it's all about, okay, we have, this proprietary technology that is used in multiple countries. We've been in business since 2002. And there's not even a single word that say, hey, if you are facing these problems, we can help. And I know it
Yeah.
sounds so simple, but it was one of the best advice that I've ever received from a mentor of mine. He said that, Fitri, if you want to get someone's attention, tell them they have a problem.
Mm.
If even I use it, in managing my team, just to get them to like, okay, guys, pause. We have a problem. Everyone would just drop and like, what? So on your website, if you do not do the same thing, if you do not state out, okay, if you are these people facing these problems, what you are creating is a place where user can never relate to the website. And
I understand.
this is a very, very common issues with a lot of service providers. We talk so much about, okay, it's all about us. This is our technology. This is what we've, accomplished. This is what we are all about. This technology, blah, blah, blah. This is our price.
Mm-hmm.
It's just like shoving, you have someone walk into your store and then you're just shoving a menu. Okay, like, it's all about us. And it's very difficult when you approach it that way. I'm not saying that you can't convert. Yes, you can. But
Mm-hmm.
imagine now you have to understand that a lot of people are, when they're looking for service-based service providers, they're not just looking at one. If it's a referral, maybe it will just, be to you. But if it's someone who find you on Google, definitely they will, when you want to look for something, you will open the first page in all tabs.
Yeah.
And then
Guilty of that.
imagine 9 out of 10, exactly, 9 out of 10 are talking about themselves, and only one that talks about, okay, hey, if you are this person and you're struggling with this, I know how frustrating that is.
Mm-hmm.
When we first started, blah, 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 we faced through the same thing as well. This act of you spelling out the problem, this act of you establishing a story that makes your audience go, oh, okay, this dude understand what I feel. This website understand the pain that I'm going through. You'll be better off than the rest of the 9 websites that people are shopping from. So that's problem number two.
Mm-hmm.
A
Mm-hmm.
lot of websites are talking about themselves.
Understand. Okay. So those two are the main problems that you see in your line of work, that if the business owners actually focus on that and change that, it would help them to create a revenue generating website. So does it really have to, I mean, do they really have to redesign the website to achieve those two things? Or what are the like smaller steps that they can do? Like let's say they already have a website and it acts that that's such a only like a business card right now because there's no traffic and everything. But if someone were to come on the website, uh, what are the small changes that they can do right now today that you think could at least increase like about 20 to 30% of their conversion? Not like a whole slew of things. Like if they wanted that, then maybe they have to talk to you, right? But what they can do today, like I'm pretty sure they've searched online what to do, but sometimes you just need someone like, okay, this is what you need to do, and you do it, and then this is what you're gonna get. Like, do you have any advice on SMEs on that point?
Right. So what I would tell my clients is that first thing first, you have to do this test. Basically, just grab anybody around you
Uh,
that have never heard about your website and show
mhm.
them the website. Don't let them scroll anything. Just let them see the first thing that they see and ask them this: do you know what we're selling?
Okay, I'll
If
write
the
that down.
answer is no,
Mm-hmm.
then you just ask them, what do you think we should write there, or what picture should we use to make it, aha, okay, now it makes sense.
Now you're selling that. Got it.
So for us, it's no secret. We build something. Sometimes we think this is the best way of showing it, but when we show it to someone, it could be, I
Mm-hmm.
still don't get it.
Understand.
So that's
Okay.
number one, guys. Grab somebody's random or a family member, your mom, your dad, your siblings, your relative who doesn't know what you do, and
Mm-hmm.
show them the website and then tell them, okay, faham tak? Do you get
Mm.
this?
Yep. That's a good tip. And then from there, you ask them exactly what they think can help them visualize what your business is actually offering to the market, right?
Correct. Correct.
Okay. Okay. So that's one. Do you have any other tips on that besides bringing that someone to help with that first step?
Yeah, actually, there's another problem, a third problem that I thought if I could share could be something really helpful to people listening, is the
Sure.
fact that when people go to your website, imagine 10 people go to your website, the majority of them will not transact. That means that if you want them to, let's say you're selling SEO service, which you want them to book a consultation,
Mm-hmm.
you would be surprised that out of 10 people that comes in, not everyone's going to book the consultation. So
Right.
I like to use this analogy of, you know, you like a girl, a lot of website, it's like, okay, marry me. That means they go in, a girl comes in, and then you go straight up to them like, look, marry me.
Mm-hmm.
While that may not work for all 10 people, maybe one or two
Mm-hmm.
people who have heard about you, who have
Mm-hmm.
investigated about what you do, who have seen the results that you've brought in, will say yes because they have sold.
Correct.
They are sold. But
Mm-hmm.
if you don't do something to this majority that needs more, you need to take them out on dates.
Mm-hmm.
What
Mm-hmm.
you're missing again, a lot of potential revenue. So
Right.
to that, how do you solve that? Imagine that you want people to schedule an appointment with you.
Mm-hmm.
That's your main ask. That's your marry me question. You want to have a second question. If you don't want to schedule the call,
Mm-hmm.
you can just download this do it yourself guide on how you can, you know, fix the problem yourself. So you'd be
I
surprised
see.
that now out of 10 people that walks into your store, two may say yes, but another six will, hey, I need that. And this is something that a lot of website guys don't do, is they don't understand that you have a big ask, the main call to action, book now, buy now.
Mm-hmm.
But if they are hesitant about that, what secondary thing you could show it to them? Which I thought was a brilliant. I received this one email I just had to share because it was very recent about this webinar.
Okay.
And the call to action, the first call to action was obviously join the webinar. And then as I
Okay.
scroll, I read through the whole thing. The bottom part says, if you're too busy to join the webinar, if you can't make it to the webinar, just still register because we'll send you the recordings after the webinar ends. There we go. I'm sold at that part. Okay. I
Even
don't
if
know
I
all
cannot
about
watch
the
it,
world.
I still gonna get your recording.
Correct. So
Yeah.
how the business benefits from this is you get the contact details of someone who have shown interest. Like, look, I mean, I'm a potential prospect. I'm a potential client. I showed
Mm-hmm.
interest in your service.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And this is when, you know, everything online is about, you know, you have to nurture that relationship. You have to take them out on dates. You have to win them over.
Right.
And eventually you'll be able to ask them to marry you.
Yes.
So
Yes.
that's the third problem and the third thing that you need to have. You have
Yep.
to have your main ask. If
Mm-hmm.
they are not agreeable to that, it's too big of an ask to them. It's a marry me ask.
Mm-hmm.
What do you do to
Mm-hmm.
give them a, you know, let's go out on a date thing?
Understand, understand. Macam kalau macam orang Melayu lah nak kahwin kan ada merisik, ada tunang, lepas tu ada nak baru marry me kan. So basically before nak go to tunang to set for the marriage, beri merisik dulu lah, try dulu.
Correct.
Okay ke tak?
Correct.
Understand. Yeah,
So,
yeah.
so you getting their details allow you, I mean, this allows you to reach out to them And
Mm-hmm.
like during the MCO, right?
Mm-hmm.
Businesses that have contact details of past clients or potential people that that they have interacted with could have
Mm-hmm.
easily just say, hey, we have an MCO package or a stay-at-home kit or anything for you. Do you want it?
Mm-hmm.
You're gonna charge this much
Mm-hmm.
for it.
Mm-hmm.
Compared to businesses who did not take that, opportunity
Initiative.
to build on this list, build on this, the word here is database. A lot of people say you have database, you win, but it's true.
Mm-hmm.
The fact that you're selling online now, your Kedai is exposed to technically the whole world. You have SEO with
Yeah.
Nabil, it's even crazier. But out of 10 people that walks in, if you don't have their details, you're leaving a lot of money on the table, I would say.
Mm. Those are very, very good points. So let me just recap because our session is technically almost over. It's supposed to be about 30 minutes, 9 to 9:30. I know you have a lot more to share. I mean, we could spend a bit more or maybe some of the tips you want to share, but you basically shared three main pain points of business owners or SMEs in Malaysia specifically are going through on their website, right? Like they like to talk about themselves instead, and then they like to make themselves sound smart, but actually they have to put themselves in the shoes of their actual target audience. So speak to them like they are the actual audience. And then of course you also shared three very simple steps that they can do today to make sure that their website can change to be that revenue generating website. Number one is to bring a random person, preferably someone has not seen your business website at all. Bring them, let them take a look and not scroll anything, and just ask them, what is this actually? What does this actually present to you? And if what they are sharing with you is different, then ask them how can they imagine the website to be or look like to sound like what your business is offering, right?
You'll
Fitri?
save thousands in consultancy fee if you do that.
Yes. Now it's in the time where a lot of money needs to be saved and put in better situations. So okay, thousands of ringgit. Yeah. Spending an hour with Fitri will how much, Fitri? I don't know. Maybe we can talk some other time. So number two, what was it again, Fitri? Can you like tell us again, like what's number
Ah,
two and number three? I remember the last one, but number two,
come on, Nabil. What is
number
this?
two, number two, one to two. Come on.
Number two is to not talk about yourself too much. I mean,
Okay.
we all know that. When you go
Mhm.
to a gathering, a reunion, and you have this guy who
Mhm.
constantly brag about themselves, how do you feel? You can't, you can't relate. You just feel like, let's just get this guy out and ask you how you're doing, man.
Mhm. Mhm.
So don't be that
Okay.
dude in that party who's just like, look, we are the best, we are the best, we are the best. I've done this, I've done that. There's a fine line to that, obviously, but
Yeah.
if you feel that the pronouns that you use on your website is all about we, you might want to change that to you,
Mm.
you a lot.
Got it. Got it. That's very, very simple and implementable action that people can do. Definitely. Number three is, of course, you
Them out on a date.
cannot.
You have
Yeah, you
asked
cannot
them out on a
just
date.
ask. Yes, you have to ask them. If you can technically ask them to marry you, but if, just to be safe, if you get a no, you should try again and ask them for a date, right? So basically, if you have like a call to action, like I mean, contact us for a free consultation. And if they don't want to do that, then perhaps, hey, if you don't have the time to do that, read our 10 FAQs if you are in this position, like an ebook or like very short PDF. That will work, right, Fitri? Something that's
Correct.
adding that you can ask something from them, like their name, their contact number, that in the future maybe you can contact them to be part of your sales cycle.
True.
Okay. All right. So anything else that you want to share, Fitri, before we end this session? I know it's quite
Uh,
short. You have a lot to share, but
so,
yeah,
yeah,
is
one
there
last thing,
anything
one
that
last
you
thing.
like to wrap up? Mm-hmm.
So when you have this website, if you feel that okay, it's understandable, I've got my main ask, I've got my secondary ask, and I don't talk about myself too much. Now you are good to start shouting to bring people to to your shop. So what I mean by this is whatever you're doing now, guys. Like if you're going live, if you are posting, you have to constantly call people to your website. And that's the benefit of having those two offer, those two call to action. Like imagine we actually do this to our clients that look, guys, if you have a website and you don't know where to start, go to our website, www.websiteartisan.co, and then request a free site audit. You'll clearly see a request a free site audit up there. Put in your URL and we'll go through the website for you FOC, just to tell you this is how we would improve it. What I just did there is what you should do every time you go on social media, every time you do some sort of marketing, because these are the act of pulling people to your store. Now imagine that again, you have this store, but you don't have anyone out there pulling people into the store. It's just gonna be a store. That saying, build it and they'll come. We know that we're in this industry, know that that's not the case. You have to build it and bring people into it.
Yep. If not, it's just going to be a business card online.
Right.
Yeah. All right. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, everyone, for tuning in tonight for the past 30 minutes with us. This is Rice Bowl's final episode for Founders and Friends series. And again, I'd like to thank you so much, Fitri Georgie from Fix Collab and Website Artisan, for joining us and sharing his insights in terms of how you as an entrepreneur that has a website, how you can change and turn around your business if you have not done all the things that he have listed out. So again, thank you so much, Fitri. Hope to have you again on this show sometime soon. And we should definitely meet up sometime soon because it's been quite a while.
Man, I gotta cross the era to see you, brother.
Yeah, I guess it has to wait then a bit longer if that's the case.
It's a pleasure, Nabil.
All right.
Pleasure for Thank you guys for listening. If you find we of value, share it, tag your friends down there, and